Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Words Are Hard. It has been too long. I love doing this. My name is Mad Viking King, and I love your face. Today, we got a special guest. He is like my brother. Actually, he is my brother. A very good friend, an inspiring mentor of sorts. I give you the one and only, the Reluctant Hermit.
What's up, my dudes? It's lovely to be here. MBK, this is really lovely to do. I know that we're like, we gotta do something fun. Right before we go on the Madhouse maiden voyage, the next part of the trip, my dude. It's like late at night, we're like, we gotta do this. So I'm like,
yes.
What are we gonna do? I'm like, we're gonna do it together. It's gonna be fantastic, man. It's wonderful to be here, my dude. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
yeah, no, thank you for being here. For those of you that don't know, I do know the Reluctant Hermit. I've known him for, it feels like 2 years now. Year and a half, something like that.
So it's not the age, it's the mileage, my dude.
It's the experience, right?
It's the experience, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think we met during the. So it's really only been a year. You realize that we met? No, it wasn't the Super Olympics, was it?
It was.
It was.
No,
we were.
No, we
Super Olympics.
No, it was we met through Super Murgatroyd's Stream of Thrones, and we ended up being judges. And Super was telling me, he's like, there is this guy that I know you're just gonna vibe with. And ever since then, like the first time me and Hermit met, it was, like it was funny because he heard, he saw Mad Viking King, so he's making a Monarch Marth jokes at me and remarks and saying, oh yeah, Amon or Martha, God, they're just terrible. And I'm like, oh, he did not just say that. But I knew he was like joking about it.
The one jab, because we were like hanging out, getting to know each other. Like we were also laughing. It's like, dude, do you know how to judge anything? It's like, dude, I don't like judging things, man. Like how do I pick someone? Because I'm just gonna love everybody. And I think after a little bit, I was just like, how do I make this dude laugh? And I said, and I think that it was pretty much like, like, do you like metal? He's like, yeah. It's like, all right, well, the one problem was I think that we're going to disagree on this. He said, what? I was like, Amon Amarth sucks, dude. And you just like, what?
I lost
no,
it.
I'm totally kidding.
It was definitely a lot, but it was a great experience. We definitely became best friends and then evolved into like brothers. And honestly, it's gotten to the point where like people have seen us like the brothers on Twitch, kind of like with our communities and everything else. And in public, we've gotten that a lot. But we are going to start with the beginning. We're going to dive on in to the story. But before we do, for those of you that don't know, you can really help out the channel by slapping that like button and subscribing for more content, because I do regularly upload YouTube shorts of the Twitch channel, which you can find down below, twitch.tv/MVK. So with that being said, we're going to dive on in. First and foremost, I always ask this, first and foremost, the name. I know. I'm not going to act like we haven't had this conversation before, but I actually did forget on how you got the name.
No, it's okay.
So tell us about your name. Tell us about yourself, where people can find you, which all the links for the Reluctant Hermit will be in the description down below. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, your channel, and everything you do.
So the Twitch was a completely like strange thing to me for a long time. I didn't, and I do mean that actually. I was not really aware of what Twitch was until I believe late 2019, and I wasn't using it personally for myself. My buddy Food Product and Food Product is like the best Ice Climbers Melee player, and was doing all of these conventions, and he was streaming the actual like Super Smash Bros. Melee conventions, but he's also an audio engineer. So we linked up after a while, and I'm promised that I'm gonna get to this, my dude. We linked up after a while, and we decided that we wanted to put on full-on concerts live on Twitch. And we realized that I had all of the audio equipment, my dude, to mic things as a professional studio, and he had all of the knowledge as a streamer for other events to put this together. So our first event was like 16 acts. And we ended up doing that. And then after a while, like he was like, dude, like, have you ever considered doing Twitch? And I was like, no, not really. And then the pandemic hit, right? And then the pandemic hit, and I was a massage therapist on top of an audio engineer. And basically my work went out the window. I had to leave my job. I couldn't go anywhere, and I was completely kind of like secluded. My fiance lost their job. and we were part of the community of people that essentially they were put on unemployment for the duration of like almost a year, you know. And then
So you
my
was in a
buddy Food
bind.
Product,
You was in a.
I
I'm
we,
not, and I'm not. And
we,
I'm
we
not trying to
basically
and I'm not trying to interrupt
yeah.
either. But like, there's questions like within this that I personally like. We never really dived into this. For those of you that like I said before, we're really good friends. I'm not gonna act like there's some things I don't know about, but this in particular, we never actually got to dive in. That's why I started Words Are Hard, because they are, number one, and number two, like. I don't get it, you know, to have these conversations on a regular basis because our schedules are just so like crazy and everything. So it's nice
free time, dude.
Exactly, it's nice to dive in. So you were talking about the music, and I did know about that because we scraped the surface on it, and I know you said you started like late 2019 and everything else.
Learning how to do it.
Yeah,
I was learning how to basically we were putting on our own concerts, and then the pandemic hit in February of 2020. Everything shut down, and we became the only people in the area that knew how to put on like concerts safely. And what that was is that we'd go to a venue, and the band would be spread out on a stage outside, and we would basically live stream bands from these like breweries and venues while people would order booze online.
yeah.
And that's how I learned OBS. So that is like the lead up to
And you showed
how
me
I
a
started-
video. You showed me a video
Yeah.
about that. We watched it, and I was watching it, and you was like showing me, and I was like, you know, like this actually is like really cool because, you know, most, as we both know, most streamers like they kind of just like go with the flow. It's usually a game, and then they're slowly building up with OBS, and then something just comes from it. It's nice that like you had that unique story.
I was trained.
Yeah, you was trained already because of what you were doing and because of all the worldly elements and everything that was happening. It all just turned into like something amazing that's like, you know, happened, you know, like over the time and period you've been doing this. So with that being said, I got to ask the name. The Reluctant Hermit. So like
Hermit.
the Reluctant. So what makes you so reluctant, Mr. Hermit?
It's such a misnomer, I think.
I'm sorry, like I just
no,
like
no, I'm so reluctant, my dude. I'm gonna give twofold because it's evolved over time, and I felt really kind of weird when people, because Super asked this to me, right? And like
Right.
the boring answer. The boring answer is that I am an extrovert with introverted tendencies, and I was reluctant to be a hermit because of the pandemic, because I missed my friends. But I decided, because I live on the property with my family, I had to be. So I was reluctant to be one, but had to be. That is the Reluctant Hermit. It's also an allusion to my favorite character of all time from Lord of the Rings, Aragorn. Aragorn has been the character that I have looked up to since I was, I think, 7 or 8, when I started reading The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings books, which is kind of a heavy sort of like books for someone that age. My dad showed them to me.
I was gonna say like early like upbringing, because I have not fully read them. I want to eventually. And that's one thing we definitely clicked on was Lord of the Rings. I mean, like it's just so good. You know, I'm the dwarf. You know, he like we established that I have my axe, he has a sword, like, and it was just a beautiful moment when that happened. But when it comes to Lord of the Rings and everything else, I know that's been heavily, fantasy in general has been heavily implemented on like, you know, everything, right? You know, when it comes to yeah, exactly. And I think
I mean, in the background here, that's
oh
like,
yeah, you're already there, and like I've actually never, I just noticed the shield like that's right there mounted on the wall. I like that. I know it is. Oh, I noticed
Rider
that.
Rohan.
All right.
There's Calcifer behind me, but I decided to make myself a little bit bigger. Calcifer's keeping me warm. I love Howl's Moving Castle. But yeah, no,
Nice.
dude, with the Reluctant Hermit, it really was Aragorn's character is that he he's been trained for years in various things. He's traveled extensively, and that was sort of my upbringing. Is I traveled a lot, and so I felt a lot like him. I went and learned tracking and survival skills for like 7 years at this tracking survival camp called the Tracking Project, because it's good, straight up, like obvious name for the thing. What John Stokes is an amazing mentor, taught me a lot, my dude, about martial arts, archery, tracking, and survival. And so I really did become My friends lovingly refer to me as Diet Aragorn or Aragorn from Wish. Um,
Wait,
no.
and that's exactly why I do this show right there, right off the bat. Like, Aragorn from Wish. I mean, you know, that's a pretty broad. I mean, like I said, like I know, like, when it comes to we've talked about traveling before. We've talked about the different places you've been, because you've been a lot of different places, and then like all these different, like, you are just so broad when it comes to skill sets, right? You've learned so much. I mean, because I know that we've talked about you being massage therapist as well.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah.
Audio engineer.
You've done a lot, man. Like, I
I
mean,
grew up in a boring town.
I mean,
I had to make my own fun, man. I
Yeah.
did fire breathing, fire spinning, as well.
So with a random question to follow up with that, what, like, so if you was like into this, like, at a young age, what is a fun experience, like a funny thing that you want to share with everyone that like happened that you don't really talk about, that you don't mind sharing with everybody, like, you know, something fun or funny, like, moment that you've had, like, growing up, and it might involve around fantasy or just in general.
Well, the training that I had, the tracking
Okay.
and survival camp that I went to.
Yeah.
So we're taught this thing when we're in the woods, is that if there are animals around you, you don't look at them directly. It's sort of this thing where, like, I don't know if you've ever experienced the hairs being on the back of your neck coming up and you feel like someone's watching you.
Oh God, I hate
That's
that.
It's a real thing, right? And
Yes.
as a veteran, you know this feeling. You have to. It's part of your training. So we're taught this thing, and we're at this camp, and mind you, it's like in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Nice.
Nice one. See, I kept the consistency.
That was good. Look at you. Bravo. Love to see
Nice
it.
one, bro.
Nice one, bro.
We're out in New Mexico, in the mountains, and we're outdoors. We're the older crew, because there's two crews. There's the Hawkeye Kids and the Hawkeye Scouts. And I'm part of the Scouts at this point. My buddy and I we're in a ring next to our dojo area, and my buddy nudges me, and we're watching the instructor, and he's talking about something like summer shelters, and we're like really trying to learn this, because our next job is we're gonna go build one and sleep in it, right? So like, you gotta pay attention. And he's like, dude, and I'm like, James, shut up, because he would let you interrupt. He was talkative and interrupting. Lovely guy. He's like, dude, I was like, shut up, James. Dude, there's a bear. And I was like, what?
Oh, time out. Did you just say bear? Like how?
This is not a teddy bear. This is not.
Obviously, I'm not looking for, Winnie the Pooh, and like, it's like, oh, you want some honey? Oh, got some honey over here. You know, it's an Eeyore and all them. It's definitely not
Didn't
Smokey.
jump out of anywhere, bro. This is a full on thing, and he nudges me, and I turn my head slightly, man. Bear. Full on bear, dude.
Yeah.
Turn my head slightly. In my peripheral vision, there's this big, like, giant, fuzzy black mass. And I, like, my chest gets kind of constricted, and I'm like, okay, what the dude, what? And I'm like, James, are you serious? And then I take one glance, and there, sure enough, is this black bear rooting through our compost, because we have a compost heap out there, because there's no cabins. This is not like it's a barren area that we pitch tents in out in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico next to a creek.
Was this like near a park or anything like that? Like, when you say middle of the woods,
we are
like
10
this is
miles away from the nearest building. And the only building that's near us is a hostel, and that is another 15 miles from a town.
That sounds very intense. So like, with this moment, like, was anybody in camp?
We're alone.
Wait,
well, there's like 15 of us.
Wait, hold on. You just said I'm alone. Like, this just got really intense. Like, nani?
Well, you're out there on your own. Right? There's no emergency services, right?
Right.
But like, there's 15 young men, about from the ages of like 16 to 25.
Yeah.
Listening to the mentor, and what we're taught is to not make eye contact with any sort of animal if we come in contact with it, because of the danger of what it is, or it might run away or whatever. But this is a bear, and so him nudging me, I look over and look back, and I look over at the instructor John, and I raise my hand, and he says, what do you have to say?" And I'm like, "John, there's a black bear." He doesn't turn around. He just looks
Was
at
you
us.
the
And he says,
only one that noticed it?
besides James, yeah, everyone was so fixated on the instructor because we idolize this guy. This guy
Right.
learned from the Aborigines. He's learned tracking from people in Hawaii. He's learned tracking from indigenous cultures in Brazil.
My
Like the guy has
gosh.
caught the guy has caught his own anaconda for funds. He went tracking with the Aborigines in Australia.
My God.
You know, like the guy can find you if you walk 2 miles. He can find you. Like the guy is magic.
So I gotta know what happens with this bear. What?
He tells us, "I'm going to turn around and I'm going to look at it, and one of the two things is going to happen. Either A, it's going to start growling at us, or B, it's going to snort and go back to the compost heap." I'm like, "Great, so what do we do?" He says, "Well, if it starts snarling at us, you're going to pick up the biggest thing that you can, and we're going to fight a black bear out of camp." All of our eyes get all big, and this is a big one, my dude. It's you met me. It's about my size, but way broader.
Grab the
And if it
biggest thing
doesn't-
you can.
Grab the biggest thing you can, like pot or pan, branch.
I'm trying
you
to
know.
think back when I was a teenager. Like, I'm thinking like 16, 17, and imagining. Yeah. No. I'm good. I'd be like, well, you see, Mr. Mentor Man.
No.
I think I'm gonna.
Get out, dude. No, we have to. He says that if it looks away and goes back down, you're all gonna run up, get up, and you're gonna run screaming at it with your arms up like this. So no matter what, we're closing the ground.
Oh my God.
So we're getting closer to something that'll maul you, right? So he turns around, and it's the most tense 2 minutes of my life when it comes to wildlife. We're all watching him, not it, because we don't want it to start getting distracted. And finally, the bear and him lock eyes, and about a minute and a half later, the bear just goes and goes back to the compost heap, going through our rubbish, and he just says, "Get him." And 15 of us all jump up and run screaming bloody murder at this black bear. Now, you've seen a dog shocked, right? I want you to imagine the look of shock on a bear's face, because it wasn't upset or like angry. It looked at legit surprise. Like its eyes got all big, its jaw fell, and it went, and it fell over itself. And we chased it a half mile in the trees. And that's when the local kid said, "Hey guys, I've seen black bears. This isn't an adult. This is a kid. Mom's nearby." Half of us dropped out.
Okay.
All stopped.
I'm not gonna
And
lie.
that was my funniest experience with part of my name, which is the tracking stuff. That is the funniest experience I've had with those sort of things.
You know, the other thing that makes you a successful creator is your storytelling. Like telling a story, and I think that's vital. I also do this, you know, and like it's like being natural with it. You know, you're not really contemplating what you're just like. You know what? We're gonna go with the flow. This is what happened, and then describing what happened. It made me feel like I was there. Like that was actually intense, but then it ended on a funny moment. It's like the bear's just like, "Oh crap!" Just like this is amazing. So you had that experience. You've done so much, and then obviously I already know this, but for the people that don't, when it comes to content creating, which we've dived into that, just like a scrape of the surface already. When it comes to it, like I know we always have challenges, right?
Daily.
Yes. So we always have challenges. So what are some of the obstacles you have faced over time? And I do have a video here. If y'all want to see the studio, y'all want to see the video, yeah?
Yeah, but is this the
And the
first clip
secret
ever?
audience. So yeah, we're gonna show a clip of you, and this is like when you first started. If you want to.
First clip.
If you want to talk about it, I'm going to play the clip right now for everyone.
Yeah, so when I first started, I had red hair. This is like, you know, I had all this. I was playing Mordown. That's all I streamed for a bit because that's what I was into. Like, it makes sense, you know, swords and stuff. But it was with my buddies, and as you can see the chat next to it, I was using Restream to Facebook.
Oh, I see that. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So when I started doing this, I was very fortunate. I already had all this equipment from when I was first starting, right, my dude. But like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so really, it was just kind of a thing to like help pass the day, and that's how it started. And it was because I couldn't see my friends, so we played games. A friend of mine, like I said, my friend Food Product, shout out to him. He's a wonderful audio engineer. Told me to get into this, and I started like doing it because like I had friends from Facebook come over and watch me, and there was the biggest challenge was starting out was trying to break into a space that I had no concept of. There were certain things with etiquette that I didn't understand. I'd go into Twitch chats and I would say things and I would get timed out by moderators, and rightly so. So the biggest challenge really was after starting was learning all of the cultural etiquette pieces in Twitch, and to even to this day it is the biggest shame to me that Twitch does not have an article that says, so you want to be a Twitch streamer, here are some basic things. So you want to view Twitch, how would you like to have your best experience viewing a streamer? These are basic communication skills that I think that really need to be implemented. And to me, it's really speaking to how our technology has outstripped our ability to adapt socially to our new environment. So when I first started, like I was just being a complete and utter goofball, just doing what I wanted, didn't really know what to do. I still did the thing where I had the Twitch chat right there. It's a strange thing that I've found that I do differently than a lot of Twitch streamers. But that's how I started, was from this weird place of like, I'm just gonna try and do this thing, and then it started to blossom, and I started meeting people like Super Murgatroyd, Nerdy Jane, Archaic One, and I Got Tats, Jedi Greg. They were the first people that I really started to get to know, and from them, that's how I met all of my friends. Now, fast forward a couple months, right, into the journey, I started changing my content to like stuff that I kind of liked doing already, like audio engineering, right? So I went
Yeah.
from being a Mordor
We
streamer to
actually
like
we got a
to
video of
this.
that as well, of you
Yeah.
playing music and everything, which I want to say personally, and I'm not just saying this because Hermit is, here on the channel on the show. He is literally the bard of Twitch. Okay, there's no other way of saying it. The man, literally, he can come up with a song in seconds. He did it while I met him when I went to California to meet up with some friends and the community members and everything. And it was, like you have a heart of gold, man. Like there's no. Everyone that's gonna be watching this, watches my, our things, and I'm just saying the truth. Like, you bring so much joy into the world, and you're a huge inspiration to so many others. And then with your music, I think that is a very unique aspect that you have on your channel, and it goes so well with the bard, with the fantasy, and like, I mean, it was like, if you think about it, if we actually sit here and think about it, it all comes full circle.
Yep.
Like with everything that you're able to do now, and that just means in the future, the things now are even more like obtainable and like easy. It's like, oh, I did this, and then like that becomes a story, especially when you're talking to someone in chat. Then you get that, relationship, and that's important when it comes to this industry, which me and you both can firmly agree on, is like, when
Oh
it
yeah.
comes to conversations. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you all this video if you want to talk about what was happening.
Well, it's going back to one of your original questions about challenge, right? You talk about challenge daily, and one of the biggest things for me is that I was learning how to sing for about 10 years and was too afraid to do so. And it was through Twitch that I found my courage to do it randomly. And it was from my friend Archaic One. And what I learned how to do was I learned how to route my digital audio workstation onto my stream so that people would have an actual like studio quality sound of music that I was making. And it's how I started becoming a sound designer for other streamers, and it's also how I started learning how to like sing and write my own music for other people. So when it came to this was a very nerve-wracking thing because I was going from never singing in front of anyone to, at the time, I think that was when we were hanging out with like 5 to 6 people, and I was still pooping my pants. And what's funny even about this experience is that people said like, you seem so self-confident with your music now, and it's just like I still feel that tremor of fear, and it's a good reminder at all times when you're experiencing these things to come from a place of humility and like a genuine place. Never forget that fear that you first had. It's there for a reason and it's a teacher. And so that's why whenever I make music now, I'm always having this thing in the back of my mind of, aren't you grateful that you can finally open your mouth and do this? But at the same time, also remain in a place where I don't grow an ego around it. And it's why that to me, that's why song and what we do on Twitch and how I do it is maybe a little bit different from people that either record something beforehand, or I would say I have met people, and I'm not trying to have a dig, but they have an air of ego about them. So yes, I am very good at this.
And it's another way you can connect.
It's not how I do things.
You connect with you connect with your music. You do. I see that all the time, and I absolutely like. Again,
that's why I make up songs.
Yeah, and it's fun and exciting. You've done it for me. You've done it for others, and like it's just a fun thing to like. And that's what's great about content creating overall is that you go like, you know, literally from, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing when we first off to like, oh, now we can just do spontaneous things, and then it gains traction, and then people just enjoy it, and they're like, yeah, like keep doing, we love this. And then before you know it, you find like your niche, you find your thing that works, and then boom.
Slapping fishes.
Yeah, and like slapping the herring, which is absolutely,
which
and he's still missing. Dude. Can you?
He's still missing.
For those of you that don't know this, I'm gonna let Hermit explain it. But I know the herring because I slapped the hell out of that fish, and I have no qualms about it. It was an amazing experience.
It's this stupid thing, man. That, like a friend of mine, because we love Monty Python and the Holy Grail, right?
Yes.
So the knights who say knee, right? And that there's a whole part of the you cut down the mightiest tree in the forest with a herring. It's like bugger off. You cut down the mightiest tree with a herring. Oh, please, right? So someone sent me a herring. No, not someone. My friend Fangy Bite, who was originally a different name, brilliant singer. You actually met them in North Carolina. They were Sugar Happy's partner.
Yeah.
Right. They sent me this herring, and we had like, you know, show the fish thing. And then one day I figured out how to use my phone to go outside, and I said something about like being slapped in the face with a wet fish or something. And then that kind of grew into like, you know, no, it was, I had something in my face and I was sweating, and I wiped my face with Harry the herring, and like, you got to go wash him. And so I was like, I can do this. I have a wireless microphone. I have my phone that can take myself out with. And I went outside to the water spigot, and I ended up washing the fish on stream and then slapping it on the fence. And I said, you always got to slap your fish. You know, I always make sure to snap it. And it's become this silly, like, niche meme for the shrubbery, and sometimes even, like, the madhouse that they'll come in and they'll be like, "Did you slap your fish today?"
No.
And it should be a shirt. And at some point, I think that we should have it as a thing, like, "Have you slapped your fish today?" You know? Like, it's... So there's these niche, funny things that we do as content creators, like you said, where they evolve naturally, or like noodles out for a Harambe.
It becomes more weird. It becomes a part of something, you know. Like on my channel, we have Carl. Carl is iconic. I've been trying to get rid of him, but the first time I tried getting rid of that channel point, everyone's like, "Where's he at?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, he's been here for years." And it becomes a part of the channel, and then it becomes a fun little thing, and that's just the beauty of it, right? Ultimately, like that is like the beauty of just seeing everything grow. So, to dial it back a little bit, so when you started playing music, which like you said before, you know, it took you years and years,
10 years,
10 years. Can I just say
I was taking lessons.
I'm just gonna say congrats, man. I'm gonna say that again. I know I've said it before when we first met, because that's something that I saw in your stream, like, because you say that. You know, it's one of your sayings to give inspiration to others that, you know, hey, like, I was scared for 10 years to sing in front of people, but now I do it. I almost did your whole saying right there.
I was scared for 10 years of singing for people, and now I do it 3 nights a week here on Twitch and 2 days a week on YouTube.
But real quick, with your Twitch, like, I'm sorry for interrupting, but do you want to go ahead and tell everyone when you do stream, and just get that whole spill, since we're already talking about?
Yeah. So I stream Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 4 Mountain Standard, 5 Central, and 6 Eastern, and 11 GMT and 2 p.m. Alaskan, because there might be someone that's from Alaska that knows this. Um,
Kudos for you for the time zones. I try doing it and I make it all the way to Pacific and then I do like 11 p.m. UK. And then everyone's like, are you going to just get every time zone? So I'm.
No, I don't know Russian time zone. What? Bulgaria? Australian? I mean, like, I love everyone that I've met from there, man. But that's too many things. But yeah, on Twitch, it's those days, and pretty much what I do is I've become a Final Fantasy 14 content creator. But at the same time, like you said, I tell stories, I create funny things, and the most important thing is that I realize is that I create an experience where like you can be invested in the story, but what you're more invested in is spending time with people that care for who you are, how you are, when you are, and you don't feel like you're sitting alone in your own room. And that's why, like,
that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, I minimize my games on Twitch.
Yeah.
So I have the chat literally next to it, because to me the most important thing is making sure that the experience is happening with everyone. And that's kind of why I went on to YouTube, where I stream. I don't have times yet really with YouTube. It's really more of like when I can get to the things, but I do put out events in my Discord.
It's okay. I struggle with that too. I get it, man.
Yeah, no. YouTube's a whole other thing yet, because it's not our niche content. It is, to me, YouTube is a space where we get to express more of who we are in an organic manner. Whereas I think Twitch, you find your niche and your people, and it grows into the other things that you're doing.
Exactly, and I 100% agree with that. But to hit one of the points you were just talking about, it's going to be one of my other questions. I'm asking this question, even though I already know it, but this is to let others know who may not know who you are. That's the whole reason I do Words Are Hard, is not to promote just my channel, but to promote my friends' channels, their platforms. It could be Instagram, photography, whatever it might be, and give them that full experience. So when it comes to creating content, I know for me that watching anime, playing games with my friends, going on walks, these are the things that ease my mind and kind of dial it back and ground me, right? So I know you do it now, part of YouTube, but with blacksmithing. So let's dive into blacksmithing, which I'm going to show some photos of your forge, and just so everyone can kind of get an understanding on what you do with that, because I think, honestly, I've always wanted to be a blacksmith. It just never happened. And which is fine.
Need the space, bro.
It's an investment. I saw my friends. I actually spent, like, and his was old time. Like, we were putting coal into the fire. Like, I'm talking like, and it was hot. It was hot. But this is your forge. I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
This is it. This is the more of a more recent thing, and the thing that I want to say about this, and from a place of real gratitude, all of that you see was a gift from the people that are part of the shrubbery. I spoke an intention in the world, saying, like, I was learning blacksmithing. I've always wanted to be a blacksmith, and people started helping it come true. Most recently, the cover was Sarah and JK Goo, actually, who is a really wonderful streamer, who I actually, at the date of us recording, that's who I rated to thank this evening, because they changed my life. Now, blacksmithing to me was a thing that I've always wanted to do since I was a little boy, because I think before I was even like one, I was reaching for knives, and my parents, like, at first, like, and now they're like, just like, they really learned how to, like, keep stuff out of my way. But by the time I was 2, they didn't worry, because I would use it like a sword. And it went from not having any experience to meeting a friend of mine named St. James. That's not his full name, but I'm just gonna keep it at that. Who does lifesteal reenactment and fighting, and he and I became friends for a number of years. And then finally, I mean, he's a good dude. And at the same time, he has to really trust you before letting you into his garage, right? It's power tools, it's fire.
Oh yeah, no, it's a whole thing,
man. Like, the whole thing.
But like, when it comes to forging, I mean, let me look what you've done. I mean, look at where you've come.
That was a commission that the billet and the materials was actually provided by a wonderful veteran named Leonard Chow Strike, for actually his wife, Bandit Charizard. And the handle is purple cherry heartwood, and the bone is camel bone, and it was a Damascus billet, and it was intended to be basically a knife for the kitchen, and they actually used it at a large LARPing event to like help them cook. And being able to go from, I mean, my second project of all time, which I have on the desk at all times, is this. This is my knife Fang. This is the, and
That's really nice.
I don't know if anyone who's a black. This is my second project ever. My first project was a railroad spike knife
Yeah.
that I gave to Z. But the guy that was teaching me said, like, you seem to have an aptitude for this. And I said, I would love to do this. And then he moved. And then then the pandemic hit. And I really only had 2 weekends of training. And then I spoke about wanting to do it. And the shrubbery came together and made it happen. And I've been making knives ever since. And it's been about, I think, 6 months.
Congratulations again. Which is amazing because I met you before then, and like it's because I know you to see like when I first met you to now, and then vice versa. Like our friendship and just being there for each other is amazing. And also, I too have a knife from the Reluctant Hermit, and it actually came in today.
The story.
So, yeah. Wait, what?
So how you won it though is even more funny because it. MBK, because you're doing that's where you are right now during the time of this premiere, is that you're in the Madhouse's maiden voyage, which is this beautiful thing where you're meeting your community. Man, you have made me want to do it myself, my dude. Want to follow either in your footsteps, or I'll just join you in Canada, and then I'll have everyone yell at me like you're coming down to the U.S. Right?
This is about you dingus.
I don't care. The point, the point is, you won while you were here.
Yeah, we did,
right?
Yeah.
Because that's the part of our friendship, is that being content creators, and sometimes you get to enjoy incredible things, like you have your best friend come and visit you. There was a giveaway for this Damascus knife, right, that you just showed, and we had the giveaway going, and it was going and going and going and going and going. And then like, you're going to have to send this to somebody, and then your name popped up, and you won the knife. That
I'll never forget that.
Giveaway.
I'll never forget that.
While you were here, and I was like, well, you can't put that in your luggage.
I literally was like, oh, I won, but I'm flying back home. Sorry. Hey, how's it going, TSA? I know this might seem pretty awkward, but yeah, I mean, come on. Really? And I'm a vet. Well, yeah, but I'm a vet. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't help my story. Either way, it was a beautiful experience to be able to fly out there and hang out with you, because I personally wasn't like expecting that. I didn't. There's a lot of things that's happened for me and this dingus over here. Which, by the way, dingus. Dangus, Wimble Wamble Womble, and my dude.
Scope the merch. There is a Dingus and Dangus shirt. Just saying.
Hey, by the way, did you know that me and the Reluctant Hermit on our fourth wall, we have a Dingus and Dingus shirt? You can go, I'll put it in the link in the description down below. All right, so you can go check out both of our fourth walls, whichever you get. It doesn't matter. You can wear the shirt. All right, support. Hey,
wear the shirt, dude.
just put on the shirt and figure it. Just, hey, do the thing. I actually do have a video for everyone, and this particular video, if it does the thing, which I believe it will when I show this, this is when we were he was doing archery. I wasn't. I was just watching him because he was a natural, and I felt intimidated. I was just like, what? I'm just gonna watch.
Since I was 10.
Yeah.
Let's give some context there. My father and I, that was our bonding thing, is that we do archery together, and somehow I imagine to shoot an arrow into an arrow, which
that's insane.
Trying to shoot the orange, man. That orange, that orange is dick. It wouldn't take it, man. There's no phrasing there, I swear.
No.
Anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to put it in an orange, and instead I put it into an arrow. This is devolving really quickly.
No,
Anyway,
no, it's fine. It's fine.
I shot an arrow into an arrow while you were here, which was a really funny
Yes.
experience, and you got to meet my family, you know, which was wonderful. But like we got to have that hilarious moment where it's just like they say like you don't get to really do that or see that often because it's hard to do. I will maintain that it was intentional, but I don't think it really was.
Hey, honestly, but like, hey, that shot, you gotta get props where it's at, right? You really do. So diving back,
Serendipitous.
so let's dive back on in. So we're going on this content creating journey, right? So you established a name, you had experience with OBS, and you had all these, you know, different sound equipment that I've personally seen and everything else. Like you have the literal making of a creator, right? And then you start getting the music, then things start upgrading, you know? And then the thing happens. You make Twitch Partner. Now, I want you to tell me firsthand, like when you made Twitch Partner, number one, how did you feel, or and how do you feel now about it? And number two, if you did have advice for a upcoming 2023, the year being 2023, if you did have advice for a up and coming creator, what would it be?
Well, at the time when it happened, it was during one of the hardest parts of my life. I'd recently been in a serious car accident. I was recovering from being injured, and then for my apologies for anyone watching this. The first dog that I ever really had, which was Z's Clementine, she passed away. And
It's never easy.
it's never, you know, losing a pet is never easy. And so I had been gone for like 2 months because of my injury, and I came back, and then our dog died. And at the time I was working towards things, and the main thing was, you know, just staying consistent. And I think the most important thing with content was like being in good integrity with being present and genuine with people, letting people know what's going on. You don't have to tell everyone every little bit of your life. But then there were several friends that said, like, you seem like you're getting really close to this thing. And you know, I told people like I'm not going to do any sort of push, but like, yeah, we were getting closer. And I was playing Breath of the Wild at the time, which is a game that I love to bits. I love the entire Zelda franchise. I even have one of the swords. And then, you know, I think it was like a week or two after Clementine had passed away, I had put this, you know, her paw print up behind my computer with the picture of what they send you for Twitch Partner. And I was just thinking, like, I really want this to happen because it would feel like it would be a beautiful achievement. And I'm going to say this is going to be maybe a little bit controversial. I didn't want it for me. I wanted it for the community of the people that were around me, because I truly felt like it was the people that made that possible. And the channel becoming partner was the most important thing to me. I didn't want to have it be for me. I was like, people have supported me in this strange endeavor that I never thought that I would do. And to me, it was a sign of the love that they had shown. And so when we became partner, you know, it was kind of like having Clementine from beyond the grave saying, hey, you did it, you know. And then on top of that, the people that I met throughout the last year and a half that happened, the first thing I said to everyone when I came on and said, look, we made it. I said, this is not a me thing. This is a we thing. And then my friend Fangy Bite said something really cute in chat saying there's no I in Shrubber We. So my advice really, it was this strange, like, surreal experience where I cried because it was such a beautiful moment to celebrate those that made it happen, and at the same time also acknowledging and accepting that yes, I have found my calling, but remaining in a place of humility, knowing that like this is what I want to do, but I always want to improve it. And so how do I take this beautiful thing that has happened, and how do I honor it with the people that have made it happen? Because one of the things that happens sometimes when people become partner is they suddenly, and I've seen this, their attitude shifts to, oh yeah, I'm a Twitch partner now. Well, I did this. I'm sorry, creators. You are half of the equation. Own who you are, stay in integrity with what you love, but honor those that make it happen. Otherwise, it's what real value is there? It is something you created together. It's a beautiful amalgamation of experience, days that you've cried with people, days that you've yelled with people. Sometimes you've helped change someone's life. You know, that was the main thing that I really loved about Twitch, is that you have a platform suddenly to start changing other people's lives. So becoming a Twitch partner was not for me. It was for us. It was for creating a world that was kinder. It was for creating experiences that truly help people find their way. And the journey was me finding myself and serendipitously helping others by modeling that behavior as in integrity and as genuinely as I could. And that's why I was so honest the entire time about what was going on, you know, like how close we were. And I didn't put, you know, partner pushing things, which is fine. But like for me, I was like, this needs to happen organically, and I want it to really feel like it happens naturally. And so in terms of advice that I would give to anyone who is working on content creator, yes, put it in your mind where you want to go, but really think about why you want to get there. Because if it's for a selfish reason, it's not going to mean diddly after it happens. There has to be more. There has to be something that serves others more. Because that's what content creation is. It's an experience for everybody, not just you.
You have to do something that's sustainable. You got to do something that you love and you mean it and you give it 110%. You hit all the notes, man. There's so many things you hit. But to put this on more celebration vibes as well with YouTube
sorry,
partner.
they got really like they got really sentimental.
Do not be sorry. Like that was incredible, man. Very like this is about you. You know, like I can throw all the questions and all the things, you know. We've all seen it in all the other podcasts and whatnot. Here on Words Are Hard, this is about you, okay? This is about you, all right? People getting to know you.
I was going to talk about the other thing that I loved about Twitch is helping my friends.
Yeah, no, and it's all good, but like that, like, I mean, it came from your heart. And that's what mattered. That's why I like bringing people on, because somehow I'll ask like some fun things, you know, some silly things, but you and then, you know, I've known you for a while, and for you to like open up, you know, like even if I didn't, like I felt like you would have just naturally done it anyways, because you're passionate about it as much as I am. And you know, this is why we do this full time, and doing it full time, we do have our struggles, but the beautiful things and the friendships we've made along the way, along with the memories on part of our journey, it has more value than gold. It really is just like an awesome experience. You know, even doing this recording right now, I still get to hang out with my brother. You know, we'd be in a Discord call right now, probably shooting bugs, you know, playing Starship Troopers. You know, I'm doing my part and he's doing his part. And I'm doing mine and he's doing his. Peter Pan, let's get at her, you know? Like, it's just like, that's just who we are. But no, like, and I know you're, you know, and I can vouch for you as well. Like, yeah, you do help out. I can say that. And in this part, I do want to say, you know, I mean, you have promoted the channel, me, the content, the events I've done, and, you know, vice versa. I've done that for you. And because at the end of the day, like, we're just like, hey, like, I see you doing this, you know, and I say the same to you for your goals and your milestones that you have in your future as well, because that's what you do for friends. Not just, I'm not speaking from business perspective or content creating perspective. This is just friendship. All right, the baseline.
You show up for each other.
Yeah, help friends when they need, like when if you know, bad, good, thick, thin, you know, like you gotta be there for one another, because that's friendship. And if you don't want to be there for that person, then maybe they're not the one for you, and that is okay. You know, in this life, you know, if you got someone that's just dragging you along, let them go. I have had to do this. I've been doing this for 4 years. if someone is just like, you know, dragging you down and it's like, no, you're not going to do or this. Yeah, boop, give him the boot. A boot, give him the boot.
That is the one other bit of advice from the perspective now, because hitting partner was this incredible experience. And then the one thing that I will say, and then this is for affiliate and for partner, what you're going to see is you're going to see a wave. You know, and it's not because you're not entertaining or anything. It is just the nature of like a goal is reached and then things kind of relax. I call it's a relaxing effect. There is a surge and a relaxation. That relaxation period will do your head in as a content creator. The thing that you need to focus on the most is finding your niche, finding what you love to do, and moving forward. And on top of that, you start to find out who your friends are, who's really in your corner. And when you find out if some of those people are not really in your corner, the best thing you can do, don't go to social media about it. Maintain a level of professionalism, sorry, that's not a word. And just allow that space to kind of fade away.
That's it. I realized I was muted. I'm sorry. I just had a dumb moment.
It's like you got real quiet, really all of a sudden.
Because
this is serious. No, and it's a thing. And don't get me wrong, because if anyone's watching this afterwards, oh, Hermit's judging me for posting what I feel. No. What I'm saying from a professional standpoint, because again, this is like our technology outstripping us. Really think about what you're putting into the world. Do you want to talk about these things in a public sphere where the story can get out of your hands? I always say, unless it's really necessary, don't do that. If you're using Twitter, talk about what you're creating, how you're helping the world, how you're helping others. If you're a professional content creator, or if you are having a hard time, talk about your challenges and make it about what you are trying to work through and how you're trying to work through it. Own what you're doing.
I couldn't have said it better myself. The one thing I was trying to say though, when you said when you was like, oh, that's not even a word. Words are hard. So, Hermit, that is why I get to do this, because that is the one thing that's constantly said. And for all of you trying to do that, hey, I was the first one that came up with the idea to make a podcast about this thing. So don't be that person, Bob. If your name's Bob and you're watching this, I'm sorry, but you know, don't.
You tell him, Crunk.
This was, hey, I'm telling you right now, like, words are hard. The podcast was my idea, okay? So like, that's right here. I have two more questions for a few more questions for Hermit. One of them though, to kind of get back on track. So there is something that has recently happened as well. Not only did the Reluctant Hermit make partner with Twitch, but most recently you have made partner on YouTube, and along with that, we
keep going. Sorry, I love you. This is our dynamic.
No.
He tries so
I told
hard
him.
To
This is about him. I tried to tell him. Okay, yes. Hi, my name's MVK. Yes, I did a video on this already, but yes, it's on the go. God bless.
Go watch the video.
Go watch the video.
Finish your question, man. I'm so sorry.
No. Okay, fine. Hi. We both made YouTube partner. Claps to that. Yes, we did. We both made YouTube partner. He pushed me. I pushed him, and it's been a wonderful journey. And by the way, I know this is random. We're going to be doing more collabs, okay? So if you and his YouTube link's going to be down below, as well as Twitch and other socials. Be looking on the horizon for that, because we have plans for that. I've just been traveling. It's been very difficult, so we're going to make that happen. Winner? Oh, winner for content.
Oh my dude.
Oh, we're coming for you. Oh, we're going to make some. It's going to be good. But the question I had was, you know, and this is actually a really beautiful thing. When you made YouTube partner, your parents were there. And I have a special video to show that for everyone to see. I think this is like an amazing thing. So everyone, here you go. Would you like to talk
So
about this?
in this clip, you can't. Of course, we're having this experience. That's my mom and my dad, and what I'm explaining to them is, you see that there's a donation goal there, and because I live on my family's property and they've essentially allowed me to do this. I told everyone, hey, you know, we made YouTube partner and we've had Twitch partner, but I want to give back to the people that I love the most in terms of like my family, and essentially all of the donations for that YouTube partner stream that was a 24-hour broadcast went to my. It was also done on the same day that was my parents' 47th wedding anniversary. And said, look, this is a gift from the shrubbery that you have essentially pretty much cultivated unknowingly, and I'm going to celebrate you by, you know, completing a project for you, helping you build something, celebrating in whatever capacity. And I think at the time of that experience, there was over like $600 or $700 in donations to go towards giving back to my parents and giving back to my fiance.
Congrats, man.
Because they were involved in that. And to me, it's like, you know, as a content creator, you feel blessed to be able to pursue things if you can, you know, basically feed yourself and house yourself. And in this capacity, I've been very blessed recently. And so what I wanted to do was turn around to the people that have been, you know, there when I go to sleep, when I'm in doubt, you know, or if I'm celebrating something. And I was like, this, for me, like giving back to my parents, was a way of saying, hey, this is bigger than me. It's for you. It's to give back to you guys. Thank you for raising me the way that you did. Thank you for being so supportive. And let's help make your dreams come true, because you guys helped me pursue mine. And so I'm helping my mom build her garden, which is a very expensive process. And the other day, what I got to do was I got to take, speaking of one of the challenging parts of making partner was losing Clementine. We got, with some of the love from the other day, we went and got the paw print that Z had from when Clementine passed.
Oh.
And got tattooed in the spot that Clementine used to paw at the back of their leg.
Are you okay, my dude?
And then on top of that, yeah, no,
okay.
These are like tears of gratitude, man. And then I got to also provide some art supplies for them, because they have high anxiety, and art is how they manage their experience. And also got to get them some clothes that they've been really, really kind of wanting, because they're transitioning into a new career as a dog groomer. And that takes time to really make a living in. You have to develop a clientele even if you work within the space. So that clip was a moment where I got to share the love of what a community can cultivate in order to give back to the people that make something possible. Because living in California, as you experienced coming here, man, it is expensive to live here.
It is.
And without my parents or my fiance, I don't know if I would be able to do this. You know, so giving back to those that encourage you, but also are the main reason that you're capable of doing something, is super important. It's why I think it's beautiful that you do the stack up streams, man, because you're a vet and you give back to that community 1,000%, man. You know, you don't have to stream on certain days during the morning, and when you do, it's fantastic. I love hanging out and watching you play. God dang, what's the word? It's a space game.
It's just No Man's Sky. You're
No Man's
fine.
Sky. But that's the point, right? Is that you come to this place in your journey, and you have to start you widen your vision, because I think that really, if you want to cultivate a beautiful place that grows organically and holistically, you show the people that are part of what you've created, you know, whether it be the Madhouse family, the Shrubbery, the Super Crew, you know, all these places. If you show the result of compassion and generosity and helping dreams come true in a certain capacity, suddenly you have this experience where everyone feels like they are part of making the world a brighter place.
They're part of something bigger than themselves, and I think like you hit the nail on the head with that, like with everything, you know. And again, congrats on YouTube partner, raising money for your parents, and like all of that, like, you know, it's really paying it forward, and I think that just says a lot. We are getting down to the last bit of our video. So real quick, I just want to say thank you for joining
Only
us.
if you want to. You telling me people don't want to hear us talk, man? I know it's an hour-long video. I get it, my dude. Like it's a thing, but
it
I
is.
want to respect the time.
But there is something. There is something I had planned. I have a challenge for the Reluctant Hermit because I want to end on a little bit of a goofy note as well. So, I hear that you have spoons.
Yes.
Okay. I too have a spoon. Okay.
Where's Witchy? You spin.
Yeah, spoon! I have a challenge. If you accept, you must try to balance a spoon on your nose. And whoever lasts the longest gets a big hug next time we see each other. All right, let's go. I don't know how well this. I don't know, man. I just thought this would be a good idea. Wow. You're actually, wow. That's actually. You're doing great. I'm trying not to. Oh my God. It's working. It's. Oh no.
Well, now we're stuck like this. Can you hear me the questions?
What is the velocity of a swallow?
African or European?
I'm pretty sure African.
No, my dude.
Okay, I failed. I had to. I always like doing fun events when I do this because I don't like to be all serious. So thank you again for that. Good job, man. But real quick, to wrap everything up, let everyone again know who you are. Next time you'll be streaming, and anything else you want to add along with that. Thank you again so much, my dude. I know we've been planning to do this for a long time, but we finally have done it. And thank you all for watching. Like I said, if you've enjoyed any of this video, if you would like to be a part of Words Are Hard, comment down below. Maybe we can DM about it in Discord. And with that being said, the Reluctant Hermit, I will hand it off to you.
Right, so on the evening of this recording, I actually just finished a stream this Sunday. I will be actually streaming tomorrow, Monday, the 31st, on YouTube, making a knife for a young man named Jaster. It's their birthday. And then the following streams will be Tuesday and Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 4 Mountain Standard, 5 Central, and 6 Eastern, playing Final Fantasy 14. And the next Sunday will again be another stream, and then Friday will be also streaming as well, more blacksmithing. And then actually Thursday, sorry, will be the YouTube partner celebration stream where I make the giveaways that were part of that event. And if you like fantasy RPGs, singing songs from Lord of the Rings, Monty Python, and The Witcher, the Shrubbery is here for you to help inspire you to follow your dreams and to help you get through your day. And I hope that by hanging out with us today, you felt inspired to maybe reach out to a friend you haven't been talking to. Pick up that guitar or that instrument, the clarinet that's been staring you down for 2 years. Start writing, pick up your pen again and start doing art. Or if you're really into something kind of niche, get really back into, your flatulence art, my dude. Getting, that particular straw, putting it in your mouth and into your armpit and starting to make that particular sound that you know so well.
All right, man.
Thanks, Apex.
Dude, you've been amazing. I love your face. Thank you again for stopping by. My name is MVK. That is the Reluctant Hermit. This is Words Are Hard, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody. And remember, we love your face. You are important. You are loved, and it's okay to not be okay. Take care, y'all. Let's go!